Welcome to the City LC Community Efficiency Leadership Coalition webinar series. Today, we're going to have the State Energy Conservation Office, their grant webinar. They're going to be talking about empowering energy efficiency and sustainability through grants. They're going to provide information on their reimbursable grants program as part of the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act. And they'll go further in depth. It's pretty exciting. Over $30 million in funding will be used for multiple programs with the intent of reducing carbon emissions in all sectors of the economy across the nation. A little bit about our organization before we get started on the webinar is that SPEAR, South Central Partnership for Energy Efficiency as a resource, we are one of 6 regional energy efficiency organizations in the nation. We cover the state of Texas and Oklahoma. And our mission is to accelerate the adoption of energy efficiency products and services in Texas and Oklahoma. And a little bit about the Community Efficiency Leadership Coalition. It's part of our local government program. It's a collaborative network of Texas cities, school districts, and other public entities throughout the state of Texas. And that includes cities, school districts, universities, state agencies. And it's really a way of encouraging partnership and resource exchange to expand the adoption of energy management best practices in the public sector. The membership is free to be a part of this, and it's sponsored by the State Energy Conservation Office. If you'd like further information, feel free to check out our website at eepartnership.org. And also in this slide, we have additional resources if you're interested. We have a toolkit, Texas Energy Adoption Toolkit, so energy code, templates, and messaging guides for policy, as well as our YouTube channel, which we have over 167 videos. Again, this has been sponsored and supported by the State Energy Conservation Office, as well as the Houston Advanced Research Center. A little bit of housekeeping today. All questions are welcome. Please use the Q&A, or you're also welcome to use the chat box. All the presentations will be posted on our website as well as our YouTube channel. And we will be putting a survey in the chat. Please give your feedback. It's important to us to always improve on our webinars. And so if you do have a good idea on a webinar with information we should be covering, please let me know. And then all ICC CEUs will be mailed out within 3 days. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our 2 presenters. We have Casey Wyckoff. She received her bachelor's in science and environmental studies and geography resource management from Texas State University. She started at the State Energy Conservation Office as an intern, and then rounding out her final semester of college while building on her work with SECO. Now a program specialist, Casey oversees funding opportunities associated with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the IIJA. You're going to hear that acronym pretty often. And she believes that energy equity and sustainability are of utmost importance in her work, and she is passionate about helping others work towards an efficient future. Thank you, Casey, for joining us. And then Justin Gamboa, the Energy Code Specialist. He has a bachelor's degree in political science and communications, and he's excited to be about part of SECO and the network with different agencies. So if you'd like to go ahead, I'm going to stop sharing. You can share your slides.
Awesome. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for attending the webinar. As Sean mentioned, my name is Casey Wyckoff. I'm a program specialist here at SECO. I oversee all of the programs that are associated with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And once again, to reintroduce, I'm here with Justin Gamboa. He is our energy code specialist and a contract manager here at SECO, who also works on IIJA programs as well. So really what we're here to talk with you guys about today is about all of the programs that we offer here at SECO through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. So you're going to hear us talk about quite a few programs we currently have. We're going to talk about some of the compliance requirements that are involved with these programs, and also, we'll discuss some of the upcoming opportunities that will be available to all of these entities as well. I believe we're having a Q&A at the end of this, so if you have any questions for us, take note of them, and then once we finish our presentation, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that y'all have. So SECO is the State Energy Conservation Office of Texas. We are one of 50 state energy offices across the United States and the District of Columbia and 5 U.S. territories. So really what we are responsible for is creating programs for public entities, which we'll talk about in a little more detail in a second. But we're responsible for creating programs with the funding that we receive from the Department of Energy. And those programs, like I mentioned, we serve multiple public entities. So yeah, we'll talk about some of those programs that we offer.
The State Energy Conservation Office works under the Comptroller of Public Accounts, the Comptroller who is Glenn Hager. He's the 36th Texas Comptroller. We work under them as a tool to help different entities, whether it be reporting, different contracts, or accounting purposes.
So really the purpose of SECO as a whole is to promote the efficient use of energy and reduce energy demand. And that is through the programs that we offer, within our agency. So really we work with public entities. We do retrofit grants, any kind of project that promotes the efficient use of energy. We have clean energy incubators. We support those programs to kind of encourage, innovators in clean energy technology. So really what we try to do through our programs is to promote that energy efficiency and reduce demand through all of the programs that we offer.
Our different audiences that we have and we work with are public schools, K-12, public higher educations, local and county governments, state agencies, public hospitals, and quasi-governmental entities. We have SECO works with the comptroller to fulfill three different reports, and we collect different data such as electricity, natural gas, water, and transportation fuel consumption. All of this data is accumulated with three different reports that we have, well, 2 reports and 1 dashboard, and that is the SECO Public Utilities Dashboard, as well as the Energy Consumption Reporting Dashboard with the Utility Management Report. Local governments, the Utility Management Report allows agencies to look at what other agencies' procedures are when it comes to how they're trying to save energy, what energy, their water consumption, how their different procedures that they take on their day-to-day life. And then the energy reporting dashboard allows you to compare across different agencies on how it's more as their actual data, where you actually see their numbers and can compare across different agencies.
Okay, so as we mentioned, we're here to talk to you guys today about the programs that we offer through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA. And as Sean said previously, you're going to hear that a lot today. So the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act was signed into office in November of 2021. It's also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. And basically the purpose of this bill was to invest in multiple sectors, all for the purpose of, improving America's, infrastructure. Now, for the purposes of what we do here at SECO, the state of Texas was allocated a little bit over $32 million for the programs that we're here to talk about today. And so all of those programs, as mentioned, really the purpose in providing them is to improve energy efficiency, meet any kind of, efficiency goals that public entities set for themselves, and really trying to work towards a more efficient system in our state. So all projects that are a part of IIJA, so any project that is funded through those funds, IIJA funds, must comply with a few specific federal requirements. One of those requirements is going to be full compliance with the Build America, Buy America Act, or BABA, however you want to say it. So what this means is that any iron, steel, manufactured product, or construction material that is used for an infrastructure project has to be manufactured in the United States. So BABA is going to apply to anything that is permanently affixed to a structure. So if you are altering any part of a building or any construction project that is altering, something that is permanently affixed to a structure, you're going to need to comply with BABA, meaning anything that you're working on, anything that you are installing or using has to be manufactured in the United States. So as I mentioned, really anything that is permanently affixed to an infrastructure project. So that includes LED lighting retrofits. If you're working on fixtures and you're going to be taking fixtures out and retrofitting anything, all of the materials that you use for that will need to be made in the United States. Also applies to any HVAC systems where you're going in there and replacing any part of that. You need to make sure that you are compliant with Build America, Buy America. And for compliance with Build America, Buy America, we do ask that to ensure compliance before project commencement, you're providing manufacturer specifications. So that's gonna, we'll need all of the spec numbers, we'll need the country of origin of all of your products, as well as letters from manufacturers certifying that the products being used in the project are indeed manufactured in the United States. This is just to ensure that we'll be able to reimburse everything that is used in the project. But again, any project funded with IIJA funding will need to have full compliance with Build America, Buy America. We are working with the Department of Energy right now to see if we can establish some kind of waiver for some of these materials. We understand that lead time, especially for products manufactured in the United States, can be a lot greater than products manufactured elsewhere. So as we get more information regarding a waiver, we will be informing, everybody. Will put it on our website so that everybody can kind of stay up to date with that compliance. Another act that any IIJA project will be required to be compliant with is the Davis-Bacon Act. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this, but for those of you that are not, the Davis-Bacon Act requires that any entity receiving IIJA funds for this program, for the purposes of this program, meet local prevailing wage rates for any construction or repair project. So for this, we really just want to make sure that anybody working on site of a project, doing labor on site, is being paid in accordance with local wage rates. And these are all found on the sam.gov website. They're all going to differ depending on your county and what kind of construction project you're doing. But part of compliance with the Davis-Bacon Act is submitting weekly payrolls. So again, it's for anybody that is physically on site doing labor. We will need on a weekly basis payrolls submitted. Now, as part of the Davis-Bacon Act, and this is new information as of, I believe, April 1st, the Department of Energy has contracted with LCP Tracker, which is an online payroll software. And they are now requiring that any recipients of IIJA funds use LCP Tracker to report those payrolls. Again, that's going to be on a weekly basis. So we at SECO will work with any recipients to get them set up in the system, and you guys will be able to have access to any training modules to help you navigate LCP Tracker. Now, this is a pretty new software for us at SECO as well. This is something that we're currently getting more information on and kind of trying to understand responsibilities as far as flow down goes. But if you want more information, please feel free to visit that link right there. That's going to explain everything as far as what you guys, meaning the contractor or subrecipient, is responsible for, and how you guys kind of fall into using LCP Tracker. Now with that, this is kind of the flow chart of LCP Tracker and how it will be used. Because this is a new requirement, we really want to make sure that we have kind of a blanket understanding of the flow down of information. So you'll see up here these arrows. So right up here, SECO, for the purposes of LCP Tracker, we are the prime recipient. So our responsibility is to monitor CPRs, which is certified payrolls. The subrecipient is going to be local governments, schools, anybody that has a direct contract with us. And contractors and subrecipients are any other contractors that are contracting with the people that we award directly, if that makes sense. Y'all understand, it's kind of backwards the way that the chart is written. But ultimately, this just kind of shows how LCP Tracker will be used. This is a new process for SECO. We used to have, electronic forms for payrolls. Because this is new, however, we really want to make sure that you guys, your questions are answered. So, down the road, if this is a case that you guys will be needing to use LCP Tracker, we're always here to answer questions. Now, if, down the line, there is, the possibility that you will need to use LCP Tracker for reporting your payrolls, subrecipients, so meaning awardees through SECO, are going to be required to attend virtual trainings with LCP Tracker staff. And this is just so that they are able to answer any questions that you have. They're able to walk you through that software so that you have a better understanding of how you're going to report those payrolls. And again, because this is new information, we're getting new information every day. And all of the new information regarding training and alternate training options for contractors will be released on the DOE website. If you follow that link 2 slides before, let me go back. This link right here is going to have all the information that y'all will need as far as that mandatory training goes. But again, this is something that's new for SECO. So as we receive more information, we will absolutely notify everybody through our website of any updates that we have.
The Climate and Economic Justice Map, also known as the CEJST map, is part of the scoring criteria for all IIJA programs. It aims to assist disadvantaged communities achieve energy efficiency goals. Any city or municipality in the gray area is considered a disadvantaged community. If you click on the link below, you're able to see which cities fall under this map. Just because a city does not fall under this map doesn't mean that you can't apply. We encourage all cities and municipalities to apply whenever different programs are out for IIJA.
Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning, today we're going to discuss some of the current IIJA programs that SECO is offering. So these are all opportunities that are either currently active or will be active in the near future. So, as I mentioned, we serve quite a few public entities. As we go through these, we'll talk a little bit about the requirements for each program so that, when you guys are looking out for new opportunities, if that's something that you're interested in, you kind of know what we're looking for as far as applications. So all of these programs are going to be released through requests for applications. So they are solicitations that are posted online to ESBD, Electronic State Business Daily. And then all applicants who are interested in applying for reimbursable grant funding will have time to submit an application. And then once that time period closes, we go into evaluations and then negotiation. So just know that's going to be the process for all of these IIJA programs. That's the process for receiving an award. So in the future, as we have more opportunities come out, we will be posting, information about specific programs. But just know that all of them, they kind of function through that request for applications process. Okay. So the first program that we're going to talk about is our Public ISD LED retrofit program. So the RFA for this program was released at the end of last year, the end of 2023. And any Texas public school district was eligible to apply for funding. They could apply for up to $100,000 of funding for any interior and exterior LED retrofits. And that includes, fixtures, anything, parking lot lights, any lights that they need to have retrofitted. As a result of the RFA and after negotiations, we were actually able to award 33 school districts across the state. And that map to your left, all of those green highlighted areas are the districts that we were able to award as a result of this program. So we really got quite a few districts involved. We got this was one of the most applied to RFAs that SECO has seen in a while. So we got a really good response from that. So we're really happy that we were able to max out the funding that we had available and serve as many people as possible. So these are active projects. So these are happening right now. They're in the process of getting materials and everything ready to go for those alterations and retrofits. But for this program, we estimate to save approximately 2,378,102 kilowatt hours, which is great. So we're really looking forward to, continuing on with these projects to, try to help these school districts out. And as Justin mentioned, the CEJS team map, that climate and economic justice screening tool map, that really helps us to see, the districts that maybe are a little less funded, don't have as much funding as larger districts. And as he mentioned, that is part of the scoring criteria for all of these programs. So we're really happy that we're able to help out those smaller districts that could definitely use some newer lighting. The next program is our Rural and Community Hospitals LED Lighting Retrofit Program. So this was released actually concurrently with the public ISD program. So at the end of last year, SECO released this RFA. And this opportunity was eligible to any taxpayer-supported or county-owned hospital. And that includes any critical access hospital, a sole community hospital. It does not include any kind of well, we'll get to that in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So applicants for this RFA were eligible to receive up to $300,000 for interior and exterior lighting retrofits. Included in that is some equipment lighting. So any, overhead lighting in operation rooms that needed to be retrofit. We kind of take that on a case-by-case basis for this program, but we are able to retrofit some of it. And as a result of this RFA, SECO was able to award 21 hospitals across the state of Texas. And from running the numbers on all of those estimations, we estimate to save approximately 6,917,526 kilowatt hours from this hospital's program. Now with this program, it's not only limited to a hospital building, it can be a hospital district. So if a hospital district has multiple buildings, for example, a main hospital building and a clinic, or a main hospital and a rehabilitation facility, they're eligible to apply and they can kind of work on multiple locations at once. Okay, the other program that we're going to discuss is our ESTC Community College Equipment Purchasing Grant. So this program, as we'll discuss, is modeled off of the 2010 ARA ESTC program, if anybody has ever heard about that. But really this program is to support the development of any kind of energy efficiency certification course. So HVAC courses, wind technician courses, we've even seen some EV mechanic courses as well. And the RFA was open to any Texas public junior college or technical school. And they were eligible to receive up to $200,000 of equipment. So anything that they needed for those courses to really be able to serve, the students that are taking the courses. So sensors, training boards, circuit boards, safety equipment for some of those higher risk certification courses as well. And these are active projects as well. Currently, we're working with 7 different community colleges and technical schools across the state of Texas. Kind of helping them to build on their programs that they have. This is a really, really cool opportunity. And as I mentioned, this was modeled off of the 2010 ARA ESTC program. And so there's just a few, kind of success stories from that opportunity in 2010 that we're really hoping to kind of mirror through this program as well. So for example, Lone Star College was able to purchase wind generators, solar tracking arrays, and safety equipment for their alternative energy electrician courses. And Texas State Technical College, or TSTC, was able to, install any kind of solar training systems for their solar energy programs. So like I mentioned, it's any program aimed at encouraging energy efficiency, any certification program involved with that. They're eligible to receive funding to purchase any equipment that they need.
The Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant is designated to assist 2,708 states and territories, local governments, and federally recognized tribes in implementing strategies to reduce energy and also to reduce fossil fuel and improve energy efficiency. The ECBG grant will be put out sometime in August. We have a total of 4,371,539 that we can award to entities. Eligible use for this grant, you can use it to perform energy audits, perform retrofits in public buildings, such as LEDs, heat pumps, installations. Eligible municipality-owned buildings include government-owned public meetings, areas such as activity centers, recreational facilities, pavilions, parks, libraries, event centers that serve as emergency shelters during disasters. Again, this is the CBG for applying. So cities that didn't directly get the EECBG grant are able to apply for this grant. Cities that are not within the DAC is the map that we just talked about. That's the CJST map. Just because the city, again, doesn't fall under this map, we still recommend that they apply, because you never know, maybe they'll get a certain amount and they'll still be eligible for it. You just never know until you apply. Allowable improvements include installations, replacement interior and exterior lighting fixtures with high efficiency LED lighting systems to improve efficiency, weather sealing and or retrofits, replacements of windows. Entities are able to use this community-wide, not just for government buildings. Activities range from anything having to do with clean and energy developments. Local government and tribes can fund projects and launch clean energy programs. This is another requirement for the ECBG program. We require a level 2 ash rate audit, and we also require 10 months prior utility bills from 10 months prior to the project and 10 months after. Recipients must complete the level 2 ash rate before starting the project, and they must contact one of SECO's technical assistance contractors to do so. And this is one of the main requirements before starting any ECBG project.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, all of these programs that we're discussing, all of these opportunities are provided as requests for applications. So the solicitation is posted, and then any entities that are interested in receiving funding will have a certain time period to submit an application, after which we'll go into negotiations and then award. As information for these programs comes out, so any new opportunities that we have, that information is going to be posted to the SECO website. So we are currently in the process of working on getting a web page specifically for the IIJA programs. So once we have that up and going, y'all are going to be able to view all of that information for every specific program that we provide. If y'all would like to sign up for alerts to be notified when the website is updated, and that's not just information about programs, it's also deadlines or new opportunities through our Lone Star program as well. You can click that link right there included on this slide. That'll take you to our website and show you how to sign up for those alerts as well. But again, anytime we have a new opportunity, it'll be on our website. And also, if you hear it through your network, definitely visit the website as well. So we talked about all of our active programs, but we have a couple upcoming IIJA programs. Some of them are going to be repeats, some will be entirely new. So once we wrap up the current programs that we have now, we actually are going to do a second round of the Rural and Community Hospital Lighting Retrofit Program. So again, any county-owned or taxpayer-supported hospital is going to be eligible to apply for this RFA. We're also planning on doing 2 more rounds of the public ISD lighting retrofits program, just because we have a lot of school districts across the state asking, for multiple opportunities so that they can really benefit as much as possible from that funding for their schools. We're also going to be issuing a public ISD solar and battery installation RFA. So we're still kind of working on that, getting all of the technical information for that, but keep an eye out for that in the future. And then we're also going to be issuing a tribal government lighting retrofit and solar battery installation program. Again, that's going to come later down the line once we start wrapping up some of the active programs that we have now. But again, if this is anything that you may be interested in, or somebody in the community that may be interested, definitely let them know, give them a heads up, let them know to visit our website for any more information. Like I said, as this information comes out, as funding opportunities are released, our website will be updated with that specific information. And if you have any questions at all, again, I'm going to drill it, visit the website. But please also feel free to send us an email. There's my email and Justin's email on this slide. And yeah, feel free. We have a toll-free number as well if you have any questions. But yeah, I believe that's all that we have for you guys. If we want to go ahead and go into Q&A.
Casey, I think there's a question on the chat.
Yes. The request was, do you have a list of awardees for the hospital's grants?
Yes, so we do have a list of awardees. Sorry guys. If that's something that you'd like to receive, we do have to do an open records request for that. So if you want to shoot me an email after this meeting, I can kind of direct you where you might be able to find that list.
Is there any awardees that you can actually have publicly posted?
So we kind of leave that up to the discretion of the awardees. I mean, everything really is kind of public information. However, we do want to make sure that our awardees are comfortable sharing their award status. But for a full list, if you'd like the full list of awardees, it would be an open records request through CPA.
Okay. Thank you. So fantastic presentation. Let's see if there's any other questions being placed in the chat. I of course always have questions. So with this process, what are some great tips for someone to be awarded one of these grants?
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin, if you want to add anything while I'm talking, feel free to jump in. One thing that we mentioned before, and I'll go back to, if I can land on the right one. One thing that we really, really ask is that you guys pay attention to the scoring criteria. So CEJST is one of the scoring criteria. I'm just going here for a visual. But we really, really ask that you're paying attention to the scoring criteria included as part of every RFA. So when those solicitations are posted, you will be able to see the full application as well as what a sample contract will look like in the event that an entity is awarded. We really ask that you pay attention to that scoring criteria, see how it relates to you as an entity to determine if this is something that you guys might be able to do. We also do ask that you take extra special care to take a look at the program requirements and eligible activities and ineligible activities. We really want to make sure that anything that we're funding falls within the scope of these programs. So really take time to make sure that everything you're wanting to do is included as part of those eligible activities. If there's something that's not, you may need to reassess, the scope of what you're wanting to accomplish through the funding. But one thing that I can definitely recommend is with every solicitation, excuse me, once the solicitations are posted, there is a question period. So you will have a week. Anybody that is interested in applying will have a week to ask any questions to SECO regarding the program. I definitely encourage that any questions that you have, ask them during that question period. After that week is up, we at SECO, so whoever the program manager is for that program, we will then take a week to get every single answer to every question we receive, and they will be posted publicly. But please pay attention when those answers are posted. There's been a couple times where the answers are posted and people aren't aware of them, but it's really a great way to see answers to questions that maybe you didn't even consider. And that really helps when you're building that application to consider things that you may want to include, maybe reassess what you're trying to do with the funding based on the answers to those questions. So yeah, definitely just really pay attention when these solicitations come out to, the program requirements and what we're asking. And documentation and proof of everything is always super helpful. Sometimes on applications we'll ask for pictures. If you can provide pictures, I'll give an example. For our ISD LED retrofit program, we asked for images of some of the areas that they were wanting to retrofit. And they were able to provide us with some of the pictures of the fixtures that they needed to work on, or the areas of a particular school building that they wanted to work on. And that's super helpful when we're assessing applications. When we go into that evaluation period, it kind of helps us determine the need for funding and helps us kind of kind of format our scoring based off of that. But definitely pay attention to program requirements. That's my 2 program requirements and questions when that question and answer period comes up.
Thank you. That was fantastic. And would have you mind dropping in the chat the best link to utilize whenever you're looking for when you're posting the grants? Because we have here on the SECO website, I was going to share my screen, but there's several different places people can go. So I want to make sure I share the one.
Yeah. Let me I'm going to go back to this slide. So the best place to go when we post anything about our opportunities is going to be, I don't have it blown up right here, but whoa. So the news and announcements, first of all, on the homepage. Anytime anything new is posted, it will be on the news and announcements. But also specifically for funding opportunities, right here, the SECO funding opportunities page under funding and incentives. I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a specific webpage for IIJA programs. We're working with our communications team on that right now. But anytime you need specific information, that funding opportunities link is going to be the place to go. Sorry, I don't have the link in front of me right now. Justin, do you mind maybe
I just posted it for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Gotcha,
Thank you. I
Casey.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, there was another question on, will this recording be available after the presentation? And yes, I put it in the chat, but you can find it at our YouTube channel that will be posted within 3 days of the event. Let's see if there was another question that was put in the chat. I did have, here's one. As a consultant, where do I fall in for projects from SECO or from the government entity such as ISDs?
So consultants, you're going to be working directly with the ISDs. So at SECO, we only work with public entities. We'll only be contracting with public entities. If those entities choose to hire out for, consulting or any kind of turnkey work, that's their discretion. So you really will be working with the ISDs if that's something that you're involved with.
Thank you. And then there was another question that I had about y'all's program. So you gave the tip about making sure you add pictures and you review the criteria. What about a Justice 40? Are there any Justice 40 requirements in these applications?
Justin, do you want to talk a little bit about the map?
The Justice 40 map, pretty much if you click on the bottom link, and we can share it on the chat. If you fall under the Justice 40 map, it'll show you the cities and municipalities that fall under that, the disadvantaged areas within Texas, and that's everybody, everything that is in the gray area. Just because you don't fall under the Justice 40 map doesn't mean that you shouldn't apply. You definitely should apply. But those are just, that's just one of the requirements for the IIJA, all IIJA programs. But yeah, when you click on the link, it'll allow you to zoom in and actually check even the smallest cities, larger cities, and sometimes it's mostly South Texas that that really is in the Justice 40 area. But if you look across Texas, I mean, a lot of it is it falls under the gray area, which is the Justice 40 map.
Right.
I can
Right.
share that with you all.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, just like Justin said, each scoring criteria for each different program. So, you know, let's say we're comparing EECBG to the public schools program, they're going to have different scoring criteria. And that just depends on the type of work that we're looking at doing. Now, CEJST, which is our Justice 40 requirement, that is a weighted criteria in every single IIJA program, but that percentage is going to change between programs just because the criteria are going to be a little bit different. So again, definitely, if you think you could benefit at all from any of these programs, please, please, please apply. We have some situations where maybe we did not have as many applicants as we were hoping, and we're able to provide funding regardless of your location on the CEJST map, your relation, you know, location relation to a disadvantaged community. We may still be able to provide funding regardless of what those results are. But everybody that sends an application will be required to use this map to determine where their project location is in relation to those disadvantaged communities.
Thank you, Justin, for putting the link in there. And that actually was going to be my last question for you, Casey, is just what is the opportunity on average when you have the number of applicants and the awardees? What's the percentage right now for people?
That honestly differs between programs. And that's just because there's, you know, different needs across the board. So I'll tell you guys, our public ISD programs are probably some of the most popular. We have a lot of districts that are really looking to get their lighting retrofitted. And also we have applicants that will submit an application and it's incomplete. But I will say that we had, I believe, almost 100 applications for that schools program, and we were able to award 33. And that also is dependent on the tranche that we have, you know, designated for a program. So, you know, if we have $6 million total for a program, but we can only award $200,000 per applicant, that's kind of how we determine the max amount of applicants that we'll have. And that information will be available to everybody on the RFAs. You'll be able to kind of see, hey, this is the total amount that's going to be available for this program. And here's, you know, the total amount per applicant. So you can kind of figure out about how many people we're going to be able to fund through that. So it really just depends on the program. Our community colleges program, we're really trying to push that one. We're working with 7 schools right now, but we'd really like, you know, to see in the future possibly some more traction on that program, because that's just a really awesome opportunity as well. So yeah, it differs per program, but yeah, y'all can, you know, find all that information when those solicitations are posted.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you for your presentation. I've learned a lot today. And I'm sure everybody else has as well. And we will be sharing this. I actually will be sharing the opportunities, and we'll be posting on our website the whenever the RFAs go out. So, and please, Casey and Justin, send them to me as well. And we'll put them in our newsletter. So it's a great way to stay informed about what's going on with the State Energy Conservation Office and grants, is to subscribe to our Community Efficiency Leadership Coalition newsletter. It comes out every month on second Tuesday. So thanks again for your time.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank y'all for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.